Recording in progress.
You don't have to if you don't want to, but when I die, this is another one I'd like in like a funeral. Love a mansion. To me, it's good. Is this worth anything, this cable?
Just use it. It's fine.
Okay, because it's like having a tail. So, you guys weren't supposed to hear that. You're supposed to say, wait, that's right.
She doesn't like to be attached.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay. Okay.
Christopher Robin and I, the branches lit up by the moon, posing our questions to us as our days disappeared too soon. But I wandered much further today than I should, and I can't seem to find my way back to the woods. So me if you can, gotta get the house at the corner by. Oh, you'd be surprised. There's so much to be done. Count all the bees in the hive. Chase all the clouds from the sky. Oh, back to the days of Christopher Robin. Winnie the Pooh doesn't know what to do. Got a honey jar stuck on his nose. He came to me asking help and advice, and from here no one knows where he goes. So I sent him to ask of the owl if he's there, how to loosen the jar from the nose of a bear. So help me if you can. Gotta get the house at the corner by one. Or you'd be surprised, there's so much to be done. Count all the bees in the hive, chase all the clouds from the sky. Back to the days of Christopher Robin. To explain how a few precious things seem to follow all through. After all said and done, I was watching my son sleeping there with my bear by his side. So I tucked him and kissed him, and as I was going, I swear that old bear whispered, "Boy, welcome home." So help me if you can. I've got to get back to the house at the corner by one. Oh, what do you know? There's so much to be done. Count all the bees in the hive. Chase all the clouds from the sky. Back to the days of Christopher Robin. To the ways of Christopher Robin. Back to the ways of ooh, ooh. You heard about the Tao of Pooh, right?
The Tower of Pooh.
The Tao of Pooh. It's like the Tao Te Ching, the Tao of Pooh. There's actually a
I raised baby.
Thank you, Cinnamon Twist. Good morning. I'm Rev Neal Worthington. This is Unity of Payson. So I say, as I always do, good morning, Unity of Payson. And with the adjustment of my mic, you may be able to hear me. Uh, What a wonderful song. Fun and highly inventive, very much imaginative, that house at Pooh Corner and the whole Pooh story. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, imagination. And so Jen and Ann chose that song, and I thought it was just perfect. So today we have a number of things going. There are those of us here in person at Unity of Payson. There are those of you who are with us on Zoom, and there are those of you who are with us on YouTube Live. So there's lots of ways to access this today, and we welcome everyone that's with us today. So thank you for being here. Would you take time now to be quiet as we open with prayer? God of all goodness, we cannot help but get a peek at that which we would have be present in our lives. But sometimes it's only a peek, so today we take that peek and expand it and widen it and deepen it to a focus on what we would have in our lives, how we would fulfill our heart's desire, and how we would, in a way, become all that we can be. So we are grateful to gather here today, grateful for this day, grateful for each one who has joined us as we consider imagination, that wonderful spiritual gift that's given to us all. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you, and so it is.
It's time for our opening song. Would you stand if you're able? And
I'm going to apologize before I start the song. The song starts, thank you, Paul McCartney, with the Marseillaise. So I'm going to see if I can do it, if you know what that is. Whoop. Almost. Love, 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 love. There's nothing you can do that can't be done. Nothing you can sing that can't be sung. Nothing you can say that can't learn to play the game. It's easy. Nothing you can make that can't be made. No one you can save that can't be saved. Nothing you can do that you can't learn to be in time. It's easy. Everybody, please. All you need is love.
Ba-ba-da-da-da.
All you need is love.
Ba-ba-da-da-da.
All you need is love.
Love. Love is all you need.
Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Nothing you can do. Oh, all you need is love.
Ba-ba-da-da-da.
All you need is love.
Ba-ba-da-da-da.
All you need is love.
Love. Love is all you need.
Nothing you can know that can't be known. Nothing you can see that can't be shown. Nowhere you can be is where you were meant to be. It's easy.
All you need is love. Ba ba da da da.
All you need is love.
Ba ba da da da.
All you need is love. Love.
Love is all you need. One more time. All you need is love. Ba ba da da da.
All you need is love.
Ba ba da da da.
All you need is love.
Love. Love is all you need. Love is all you need.
Love is all you need.
Oh. Hi.
One little space for all of us. Okay, after I catch my breath, it's time for welcome and connection. Welcome to Unity of Payson. We're glad you're with us this morning. My name is Donna, and I'm your hostess. If you're with us virtually today, you can let us know where you're joining from in the chat. Or if you're on YouTube Live, you can give us a comment and let us know where you're joining from. We want to recognize anyone who's new to Unity of Payson. If you're here for the first or second time, either in person or raise your hand so that we may recognize you. We have new visitors today at Unity of Payson person. Please remain with us after the service for fellowship. And even if you're on Zoom, remain with us so Reverend Neal can greet you. Okay. If you'd like to be informed of our weekly activities, we have a Monday news e-newsletter. I'm looking at the chat. Please leave us your email. There is a welcome packet at the back table. If you have not taken one, please do. And there's a card to fill out for more information from us. Again, we warmly welcome you. And from our Unity of Payson family, we say together, we love you, we bless you, and we welcome you. And so it is. Okay, now it's time for gratitudes. Where's that gratitude mic? Gratitude mic. Turn it off, you turn it on. Okay. We are grateful for those who support Unity of Payson with your time, talent, and treasure. We're grateful for all the events that we continue to hold and the technology that allows us to hold them. For example, yesterday we had our prayer chaplain meeting, and we have a prayer chaplain who has moved to Mesa, but she was with us in the room on Zoom. Isn't that wonderful? Yes, it's wonderful. Marianne. Marianne. Okay. So, if you have a gratitude to share, please raise your hand to be recognized. If you're on a Zoom, please unmute to share and mute again when you're done. If you're on YouTube, please enter your gratitude as a comment. Oh, one sec. I just want to read the chat. Alabama says hello and blessing.
So if you've been around a little bit, you know we have ventured into technical land for about the last 2 years with modest success. And we're starting something new today, and that is having our service on, well, I should come up here so people can see me. Yeah. Having our service on YouTube Live. So for those of you joining us on YouTube Live, We are grateful having you with us, and grateful that things move on, move ahead. We see them in that light. That's my thing.
Thank you, Reverend Neal. I was just waving at the different cameras. Betty.
Good morning, all. This is Betty, and I was just really grateful this morning when I was out harvesting from the garden and in anticipation of more rain to come. Not like San Diego rain, but a couple inches would be great. So I am grateful for the garden.
Grateful for the garden. I'm grateful that we have live music today. Yeah. All right. All right. So, unity is grounded in meditation and affirmative prayer. And we have trained prayer chaplains to support you. Our chaplains are available to pray with you if you have a prayer concern. You may also email your request to Reverend Neal at the address on the screen, which says neal.unityofpayson@gmail.com. Oh, it's on the screen too, so YouTube Live can see it. All right. We've got our screens in sync today. Our prayer team in Silent Unity will join you in prayer for 60 days total, 2 months. All prayer requests are held sacred and confidential. And if you would like to be contacted, please include your contact information with your request, and a chaplain will contact you. So today we have, please raise your hand if you're a prayer chaplain. This hand is up because I am also a prayer chaplain. And Betty is a prayer chaplain here. And so if you would like prayer support after service, tap one of us on the shoulder, and we'll find a place to pray with you. And it's time to talk about Unity's theme for the month, which is holding focus. In the affirmation, we can say this together if you'd like. I focus my mind on my true desires and create a life that fulfills my potential. All right. Today's speaker is Rev Neal Worthington. The title is Not Knowledge, but True Imagination. Okay, and now for our metaphysical moment. So I've taken a word or words from this non-dated daily word. It has days but no dates. And I chose the 31st day. Power within. My inner strength is greater than any outer appearance. I'll say that again. My inner strength is greater than any outer appearance. I am connected within to the Spirit of God. Wherever I go, whatever I do, I am divinely uplifted. I may look back on my life and find times when I lacked confidence. Still, I take to heart the energy available to all things. Even something like water. Once harnessed and directed, water becomes the dynamic force in a steam turbine. Those same molecules, when influenced by cold weather, become ice with the power to crack concrete and topple trees. When I discover and harness my power within, I have a mighty difference in my life and in the world. I place my attention on spirit with a capital S. With faith, I can overcome any circumstance. My inner strength is greater than any outer appearance. And from Ezekiel 36:27, I will put my spirit within you. So there's another saying, worry is misplaced imagination. We can use our imagination as a powerful force to affirm what we do want in our lives. So for me today, my affirmation has been the universe is supportive. It's pretty amazing when you say that and believe it, how the, the water kind of parts in front of you, you know, and your way is made pretty clear and easy. So, now our speaker, Rev Neal, will share his message with us.
Tom, let's go ahead and put those slides up. So who knows who this is? Not Puff the Magic Dragon. Think about imagination. And here is another version of it. Sits on my desk. And it has the word on it. Anybody see that? Figment. Figment. So if you've been to Disney World, there's an imagination pavilion. And as you go into that pavilion, there's a little video you see, and Figment is the key character in that. And he's just wonderfully expressive, unfettered by anything else. He's a delight to be with. But it was interesting how Figment came to be. He's 40 years old, by the way, this year. Figment is 40. Tony Baxter was the individual at Disney that created Figment. And he was inspired to do so, wouldn't you know, by watching another TV show called Magnum P.I. Anybody remember that, Magnum P.I.? So, of course, Tom Selleck was the one character, and John Hillerman was another. Hillerman was the character Higgins, if you remember. And one day in Hawaii, oh yeah, bless those in Hawaii. Many blessings to them. One day in Hawaii, he came out to a mild catastrophe to find that his wonderful tropical flowers had all been eaten by a goat. So Jonathan Hillerman connects with Tom Selleck. I'm giving you their real names. It's easier for me to remember them. And says, this is not a figment of my imagination. A figment can't eat flowers. And from that, Tony Baxter took and created the mischievous, at times, character Figment, which, if you remember, there's the song that comes from that, about a little spark. Imagination, imagination, a dream can be a dream come true with just a spark in me and you. Well, today we're going to talk about that power of imagination. If you're familiar with Unity's 12 powers, you know that imagination is one of them. Imagination is the ability to image something, the ability to envision, the ability to dream. And that's a spiritual power given to each one of us. We have that power within us, and we have the choice to activate it or not. And we're going to talk about that today. I put together a key spiritual truth, as I like to do, and here it is. Oh, let me just say, we're in the context of working with thinking in our minds, a divine mind, human mind, all of that. We've been talking about that this month. So in that context, we get this key spiritual truth as it relates to imagination. When we value our knowledge, access our knowing, and use our imagination, we create what we desire and fulfill our potential. So as I was working with this, and as I shared it with some people at Saturday's Soul Boost at 4 o'clock on Saturdays, always there, just a thumbnail of what we're going to share here on Sunday morning. I came up with this idea that with regard to thinking as it graduates into imagination, there are 3 things. There's taught thought. Got that? Advance the slide, Tom, so we can see it. There's taught thought. That's knowing. Go on to the next one. There's caught thought, or taught thought is knowledge. Caught thought is knowing, which is different than knowledge, and we'll discuss that. And thirdly, not thought. Now that not is an old word, means no, nothing, not at all. So it's not thought as we usually consider it. And that's where we're headed today, from our thought that is taught to us through the thought that we just catch, a divine catch, on into that not thought, that expression which has no boundaries and no limits, imagination. So, back to number 1. Go back a couple slides. Tom, taught thought. We know what we know, and it's knowledge. And we value that highly. We go to school, we get all sorts of knowledge. Our parents and our mentors and our teachers along the way taught us, and we learned. And we have a body of thought that becomes part of us that's taught thought. We also have Sir Google to go to when we don't know, and that's taught thought as well. And we just have to make sure it's correct taught thought. Sometimes it isn't. We have to use discretion on that. But taught thought has its limits. It's not very creative. It's stuck somewhere in the past where you learn that without any advance at all. So taught thought is very valuable, but it has its limitations. Go on to the next one. Caught thought. Here's the one I like. In Unity, we talk about going within, that we live from the inside out, that within us is the divine. We not only are human, but we are also divine. And that divinity within us is something that is always willing to share with us the universal knowing that's there. The universal knowing. And so we're almost as though we're in a storm of leaves being blown to and fro within, and somehow we catch. We catch on to a divine message, a divine idea, and that's caught thought. That comes from within, so it's different than knowledge. It's knowing. It's a more certain thing. It's intuitive. And we sometimes, or at least I have discredited that intuitive thing as being not so important. But it's the true knowing that we have. When we learn to access that knowing from within, but that divine and unlimited knowing from within, we have a true understanding in a greater way than we ever could with just all of the knowledge that's there. Let's go on to not thought. So when we take knowledge, taught thought, and knowing, caught thought, and move a little further, it seems even more mysterious. We get to not thought. That expression that we can't direct exactly, it just springs from within us. It's in line with that power of imagination, the ability to see something. It's not so much ability to consider things in your mind, but now it's ability to see something that's not part of your everyday reality, that imagination that's there. And thus it's very creative. And so we create through that, not thought, but that's not the end all for it. Because we have these three, and they do work together. When we were talking yesterday in Saturday Soul Boost, sorry, Ram, I'm going to make an example of you, a good example of you. If you've never been to Shanti Olmsted down in Gaisila, it's a wonderful organic farm. And Ram is the maestro. Well, he says so. And then on the side he says, well, I'm not sure about this. I don't know everything. But he is the creator of Shanti Olmsted, that wonderful organic farm. But he created not just in that inspirational way of using our imagination, he learned some things too along the way. He had some taught thought that was the basis for a lot of what ended up being Shanti Olmsted. He even goes and Googles things from now and again to see if he can find out a little bit more. He knows a lot. But if you've been to Shanti Olmsted, you know that it's a place of beautiful quiet at times. It's a place where the soul communes with the divine. And sometimes, I love to go down there. I go down, now it's Tuesday. I go down every Tuesday just to spend some time. Because I love that quiet. I love that sense of nature, that vitality that's there with a growing garden. Well, growing gardens, there's a whole lot of them. And there's something of the divine in that. It's not just what Ram knows or anybody else knows. It's an infusion of the divine into our world in a unique way. And that's, of course, because of the character of Ram as well. And then, beyond that taught thought and that caught thought stuff, we get to the not thought. Somehow from all of that, using that power of imagination, the ability to see something that's not there, not currently there, things happen. One that I remember most is what I call the Conestoga wagon. Huge 16-foot long grid of metal that's placed between two garden beds, a big arch that looks like a Conestoga wagon for plants to climb on. We haven't yet figured out, I say we, I hope you don't mind, Ram, how to get that shaded, but it's a wonderful way to take and use what Ram has known, what's just stirring with him as a divine idea, and that power of imagination. And so if you go to Shanti Olmsted, you'll see the Conestoga wagon and many, many other things that are there that are inspired and that make use of that imagination, which we all have. So in the Hebrew scriptures in Joel, it's a scripture that talks about the pouring out of spirit and young men seeing visions and old men dreaming dreams. It was evidently important enough that it showed up in the book of Acts and the Christian scriptures as well, that very same quote. Pouring out of spirit, that connection with the divine, and from that, a dreaming and envisioning that occurs. I think that's there waiting for all of us. There's a brilliant man whom we all know. Okay, it's Albert Einstein. And Albert Einstein says this: imagination is more important than knowledge. Imagination is the language of the soul. The Buddha said, all teachings are preceded by imagination. And so both the Buddha and Jesus, the master teacher, used this very creative way, this very imaginative way of sharing truth. They're called parables. And you've read the Christian scriptures a little bit. You've seen many of those parables. Unique stories with a truth beneath them that are creatively presented so that that truth can have impact in our lives. So when we take that imagination and the precedent before it, the knowledge and the knowing, that connection with the divine, we take all the bits and pieces that are there and we have a composite. And from that composite springs that new creation, something that we've never seen before, something that is new and fresh in this world, a creative thing. And that happens in our lives. As we're able to take knowledge, knowing, and imagination and work together with them, we see in our lives a change. We see the opportunity for creation, and so we create our reality in a very real sense. So as always, I get toward the end, and go one toward that last slide, Tom, if you would. There they are. Taught thought, caught thought, and not thought. As we use all of those things, how do we do it? It's nice to talk about it, but how do we do it? Number one, value learning. There's a move afoot to say that which somebody else has said, that which somebody else has learned, experimented with, and proven. I don't go with that. Well, there is truth in that knowledge, and there's bits and pieces there that can be taken together with a divine knowing and imagination and change our lives and our world. So number one, value that learning. You were in that place for a particular reason. You learned that because it was part of becoming the unique you that you are. And secondly, and this one, you could have told me this 20 years ago and I would have told you I wasn't very far along the way. And that's open yourself to your intuition. We want to be certain about everything, but you know what? Spirituality, spirit, has a mysterious element to it. So as we open ourselves to the intuitive, we discover things that isn't written in a book, but somehow we know. You've been there. Something just comes to you, and you know that for you, that's the right thing. That's the truth for you today. Like Donna's affirmation. That comes up, that wells up from the divine within us. So open yourself wide open to the intuitive and the voice of the divine within. And then finally, be like Figment. Let your imagination go wild. We had a number of kids with us last week. They're not here today, but beneath the tablecloth there is a coloring page of Figment and some crayons that I put there because I was hoping to see them here. Well, you know what? Their Figment, each one of them is going to be different than every other. And your Figment is going to be different than mine or Tom's or Tim's, because it's that beautiful gift we have of seeing in the very unique way that only we can see. And that imagination creates in our world what we want, what our heart truly desires. Let me say that key spiritual truth again. When we value our knowledge, access our knowing from within, and use our imagination, we create what we desire, and in tandem with that, we fulfill our potential. So it is.
So, when Reverend Neal was talking about um, you're there for a reason or you're learning something for a reason, I thought immediately back to I wanted to do my dissertation on non-defensive communication because I thought it would help people to be well, be really well, if the defensive system wasn't always going into gear and stressing us out. And so I was introduced to Marshall Rosenberg, who had developed nonviolent communication, turned out to be the same thing. And now I still teach that. And I met him 33 years ago, and I still teach it because I was in the right place at the right time, and it's really changed my life. And so it's time for our meditation. Let's prepare for meditation with our meditation song. And it will be Imagine, and Jen, and Anne.
So you probably all know this one. Please feel free to sing along if you want to. It's a wonderful song. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. No religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer. There you go. But I'm not the only one. And I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. One people joining hands. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. Oh, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. And I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Mm.
Let's put ourselves in a place to imagine. Quiet is a prerequisite. Stillness of our mind, of our bodies, yes, and even our soul. So breathe with me a couple of times in and out. Be aware of your your surroundings, but don't focus on them. Focus just on that breath. Breathing in and breathing out. So as you sit in the quiet, use your memory. Remember those valued teachers that just imparted so much to you. Life skills, knowledge of all sorts. Parents, uncles, aunts. Teachers and mentors. You can see that one or those few that impacted your life, and you are grateful. So as you see them in memory, give thanks. And then, as much as you can, open yourself, open your heart, open your mind. Do you see it opening just a little bit? Encourage it to go further. Like a small bud, you want a full bloom. You want to see it unfold. So open yourself. And in this quiet, in that huge open space, listen for the voice of God. What comes to you intuitively? What word pops out? What idea forms? In that open place, you can receive that. Honor it. Welcome it. Praise it even. I'm almost hesitant to leave this time and the place, but you can come back. And so we move on to taking what we've learned, taking the voice of Spirit, the knowing that accompanies that voice, we open our creative mind to see how that will be put to use for benefit in our lives, in the lives of others, in the world. Oh, yes, we may not see a full picture, but we'll catch glimpses. And you will catch a glimpse of that particular place and time where something is going to happen for you that's important. And out of that, you will create a new reality for yourself. You won't be in the same place anymore. You'll be a new, unfolding you because of knowledge, knowing, and imagination. Take these glimpses that you've had, the voice that you've heard, the memories that you treasure with you. And as we bring our attention and our awareness back to this time, we are truly grateful. And so it is. You may want to wiggle your fingers or your toes so you're all the way back here.
You know, uh, when we give uh, thanks in advance, we often say, "And we are grateful" when we end our prayers. To me, it's like knowing that what you desire you can already have, and infusing it with that gratitude. So now is the time to share our gifts and offerings, and we greatly appreciate your gifts in support of this ministry. These gifts also go out to the larger community. The information for giving is on the slides, and also you can donate at unityofpayson.org. There is a donate tab. I almost said donut. Why am I thinking of donuts? I don't know. But a donate tab, and give us all your donuts. As you listen to the offering song, you'll have time to make a contribution. So let's bring our attention to our gift at this time and call to mind our heart's desires. And together let's affirm, freely we give and freely we receive. And Jen and Ann will sing, "Thank You for This Life."
I thank you for this life, for the blessings you afford, and every single leaf and tree, and every child that's born, for the magic golden mornings, for the cool soft summer nights. I thank you for these friends of mine, and I thank you for this life in gratitude. I praise you for this world in gratitude. I praise you for this world in gratitude. I praise you for this world in gratitude. I thank you for my life. I thank you for this life. From the desert to the shore, from the emerald forest highlands to the deepest ocean floor, from the quiet little towns to the dazzling city lights, from my home on this planet. Well, I thank you for this life in gratitude. I praise you for this world in gratitude. I praise you for this world in gratitude. I praise you for this world in gratitude. I thank you for my life in gratitude. I praise you for this world in gratitude. I praise you for this world in gratitude. I praise you for this world in gratitude. I thank you for my life. I thank you for my life.
It's great. You're all knowing it enough to sing. You guys here knew Annie wrote that. That's why you've never heard it before. So these guys have been singing it a little while. So
Now it's time for the dedication of our offering. We're grateful for these gifts and for the abundance that they bring. We bless the gifts, we bless the givers. And let us say together, divine love flowing through us blesses and multiplies all that we are, all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. We are abundantly prosperous, and we give thanks. And so it is. Okay, I have a few announcements. I'm going to talk about next Sunday's speaker will be Reverend Julianne Lewis, and her talk title is Go with the Flow. Focus on love over worry. Yeah. I was mentioning that before. And she will be speaking with us on Zoom, on the screen. Unity of Payson's theme for August continues holding focus. And we can say the affirmation together again. I focus my mind on my true desires and create a life that fulfills my potential. I will share a few announcements for the coming week. We have the Writers Group on Thursday, 4 to 5 p.m., and it is on Zoom. And you can get to Zoom by going to unityofpayson.org and clicking on the blue Zoom link. If you like to write, that's the only requirement for joining our group. And I'm doing some writing right now, and it's because of the group. I started writing a novel, and I'm on page 9 of chapter 2. And it's really fun, and I'm using my imagination as I go. So, let's see, we have a PS from Neil, and then we'll close our service.
I just have one PS. So hospitality is something we love to enjoy here when we're here together in the Unity of Payson. But we need some people to step up and just to give a little help for that. If you can do that either by bringing a snack or taking some responsibility to make sure that that hospitality time works well, let me know, because we need some people to step up and do that. Charlotte is always there as a welcomer, and Joanne has been providing us with lots of goodies, but we need more of you, and we are thankful in advance for you who will step up to do that. So that's all I have. Time now to close our service with the peace song and with the prayer for protection. We circle up. We stand and circle in a circle, and the words will be on the screen, and we'll sing together. And the prayer for protection, and if you haven't done it, there's some motions that go with it. Betty will be leading the motions. Here we go. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. And the presence of God watches over us. I am presence wherever we are. God is, and all is well. Thank you for being with us. Enjoy your fellowship time here in person. And if you would put the gallery up, Tom, I'll greet people that are with us online. Rick, I'm glad you could join us online, and thank you for your help with sound early. Kay, so now you found out what we talked about yesterday, or more or less. It's a little different. I took my cues from the yesterday. Frosty, always delightful to see you, and I'm glad you can be with us. If you want to hear the music a little better, please go to our Facebook channel, and the recording should be there, and you'll hear everything. Thank you all. See you again soon.